You ever notice how the strongest people, the ones who seem unshakable, are often the ones who walked alone? Not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Because life doesn't hand out invitations to success. You don't get a personal escort to your dreams, you fight for them. And most of that fight, it happens when no one's watching. See, the truth is, most people are afraid of being alone. They fear the silence, the isolation, the weight of their own thoughts pressing down on them. They think if no one is clapping for them, cheering for them, or guiding them, then they must be doing something wrong. But what if I told you that's exactly where you need to be? Think about it. Every person who has ever achieved something great, every legend, every icon, they had a moment, a season, or even years where they stood alone, when they had to bet on themselves, even when no one else did. Muhammad Ali trained in solitude before he became the greatest. Kobe Bryant practiced for hours in an empty gym while everyone else was sleeping. Steve Jobs got fired from his own company before coming back and changing the world. They all had to go through a phase where it was just them and the grind. And yet most people avoid this. Why? Because standing alone is uncomfortable. It forces you to face your weaknesses, your fears, your doubts. It forces you to battle the part of you that wants to quit. But here's the thing, growth doesn't happen in comfort. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Strength isn't built without resistance. Most people spend their lives surrounded by distractions, TV, social media, meaningless conversations, anything to avoid being alone with their thoughts. But the truth is, those moments of solitude, that's where real transformation happens. It's where you get clarity. It's where you learn discipline. It's where you discover who you really are when no one is watching. And you need that. Because the road to success, it's not crowded. It's not filled with applause and encouragement at every turn. Sometimes it's just you and the struggle. But that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a gift. Because when you learn to fight alone, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for permission. You stop relying on others to believe in you. You stop needing validation from the outside world. Instead, you build an unshakable foundation within yourself. But let's be real, it won't be easy. There will be nights when you question everything. When doubt creeps in like a shadow, whispering that you're not good enough, that you should just quit, that maybe, just maybe, everyone else was right about you. That's the test. That's the moment where most people break, but not you. Because if you can push through those moments, if you can stand in the fire and refuse to back down, you will come out on the other side stronger than ever. The world respects strength. It admires resilience. It looks up to those who refuse to be broken. And the only way to become that kind of person is to learn to stand alone. So ask yourself, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to push through even when no one is watching, no one is helping, and no one believes in you? Because if you are, you're already ahead of 99% of the world. And this is just the beginning. Most people run from pain. They see struggle as a sign that something is wrong, that maybe they're on the wrong path, that maybe they should quit. But the truth, struggle is the birthplace of strength. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain. You don't build resilience by staying comfortable. Growth demands discomfort. Think about it. How do muscles grow? Through resistance, through stress. You lift weights, you tear your muscles apart, and in the healing process they rebuild stronger. Your mind, your willpower, your spirit, it works the same way. Every time life knocks you down and you choose to get back up, you're growing. Every moment of solitude, every failure, every setback, it's all shaping you into something unbreakable. But most people never reach that point. Why? Because they're too afraid of the process. They want the results, but they don't want the sacrifice. They want to be strong, but they don't want to be tested. They want success, but they're terrified of the lonely road it takes to get there. And that's why most people stay average. See, life doesn't reward those who seek comfort. It rewards those who embrace the grind. It rewards the ones who keep pushing when no one is watching. The ones who don't need a crowd cheering them on. The ones who wake up every day and put in the work, whether they feel like it or not. And let's be real, there will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when you'll ask yourself, is this even worth it? When your mind will try to convince you to quit, to settle, to take the easy way out. But that's exactly when you need to push harder. Because that moment, that's the turning point. That's the moment where you either break through or break down. And the only difference between those who make it and those who don't, The ones who make it, keep going. They don't wait for motivation. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. They don't stop because it's hard. They train themselves to fight through the struggle. The fire that forges strength. You've probably heard the saying, pressure makes diamonds. It's true. A diamond doesn't start as a diamond. It begins as a lump of carbon, ordinary, unremarkable. But under intense heat and pressure, over time it transforms into something rare, something valuable. The same is true for you. Without struggle, without challenges, without being tested, you remain the same. But under pressure, under fire, that's where you evolve. That's where your true strength is revealed. Look at history. The greatest minds, the strongest leaders, the most legendary figures, none of them had it easy. They faced opposition. They faced rejection. They faced moments where they had to stand alone, doubted by the world. But they kept going. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine if he had given up right then. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Imagine if she had believed him. Elon Musk was laughed at when he talked about electric cars and space travel. Imagine if he had quit. These people understood something most never will. Struggle isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign you're on the right path. Because no one achieves anything great without resistance. Silence and solitude, the ultimate training ground. There's a reason why some of the most powerful people in history embrace solitude. Because in silence you hear the truth. In solitude you find out who you really are. Most people don't even know themselves because they never take the time to sit in silence, to reflect, to listen to their own thoughts. They're too distracted, too afraid of what they might discover. But if you want to be strong, if you want to be truly unstoppable, you have to get comfortable with yourself. You have to stop seeking validation. You have to stop relying on others to push you forward. You have to learn how to fight alone. Because when you do, you become dangerous. Not in a harmful way, but in a way that makes you untouchable. In a way that makes failure impossible because you no longer fear it. In a way that makes people look at you and wonder, how do they keep going? And the answer, because you learned to stand in the fire. Because you embraced the struggle. Because you didn't need anyone else to believe in you. You believed in yourself. And that's what makes you unstoppable. The road ahead. The road won't be easy. It's not supposed to be. But here's what you need to remember. Every struggle, every setback, every lonely night, it's all a part of your story. It's all shaping you into the person you were meant to become. So don't run from it. Don't resist it. Lean into it. Because one day you'll look back at this moment, the struggle, the pain, the doubts, and you'll realize this was the fire that made you. And that's when you'll understand. Strength isn't given, it's earned. And you're earning it right now. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not who has the most resources. It's mindset. It's the ability to wake up every day and do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not, whether the world is watching or not. That's what separates the weak from the strong. Because let's be real, everyone wants to win. Everyone wants success, respect, greatness. But how many people are actually willing to put in the work when it's hard? How many are willing to push through the days when they don't feel motivated? Motivation is a trap. It's unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. If you rely on motivation, you'll never get anywhere. But discipline is unshakable. Discipline is doing the work when you don't feel like it. Discipline is getting up early when you'd rather sleep in. Discipline is staying focused when distractions are pulling at you. Discipline is showing up when no one else is clapping for you. And that's why discipline beats talent every single time. No one is coming to save you. Read that again. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. Not your family, not your friends, not your boss. You are responsible for your life. You. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you take control of your future. Most people wait. They wait for the right time. They wait for someone to come along and give them an opportunity. They wait for someone to notice their potential. And guess what? It never happens. Because the world doesn't reward people who wait. It rewards people who take action. It rewards people who wake up and say, I don't care what happened yesterday. I don't care who doubted me. I don't care what obstacles are in my way. I will keep moving forward. The most dangerous person in the world is not the one with the most talent. It's the one who refuses to quit. It's the one who understands that waiting is a death sentence for success. Because here's the truth. If you don't take control of your life, someone else will. If you don't chase your dreams, you'll spend your life helping someone else build theirs. If you don't fight for what you want, you'll have to settle for whatever life gives you. And if that doesn't light a fire inside you, nothing will. The pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. You have two choices in life. The pain of discipline, the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is temporary. It's waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's saying no to distractions. It's putting in the work, day after day. It's hard, yes, but the rewards, they last forever. The pain of regret, that's permanent. It's looking back on your life and realizing you could have done more. You could have worked harder. You could have pushed through the struggles, but you didn't. Regret is knowing that you had the potential to be great, but you wasted it. And once that regret sets in, there's no fixing it, no rewinding time, no second chances. That's why you have to choose discipline now. Because 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will either be grateful for the work you put in, or you will be drowning in regret. And that's a decision you have to make every single day. Why most people quit before they win? Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they stop too soon. They stop when things get uncomfortable. They stop when they don't see instant results. They stop because they listen to doubt instead of pushing through. But what if I told you, your breakthrough might be right around the corner? What if you're closer than you think? How many times have people quit too soon, never realizing they were inches away from success? Think about Thomas Edison. He failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Most people would have quit at failure #50, or failure #100, maybe even failure #1000. But Edison understood something most people don't. Every failure brings you one step closer to success. Most people think failure is the end, but it's not. Failure is just a stepping stone. It's part of the process. The real question is, can you handle failure? Can you handle rejection, setbacks, loneliness, and still keep going? Because the moment you can, you become unstoppable. Greatness is a choice. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one simple truth. Greatness is not given, it's earned. Every single person you admire, every successful entrepreneur, every champion athlete, every game changer, innovator, they all had to fight for it. They had to make sacrifices. They had to push through failures. They had to stand alone while everyone else doubted them. And now, the world knows their names. So the question is, what will your story be? Will you be the person who gave up when things got hard? Or will you be the one who kept fighting, who refused to quit, who stood alone and built something incredible? Because here's the reality. Your future is being written right now. Your choices today are shaping the life you'll live tomorrow. Your discipline, your work ethic, your ability to stand alone, these are the things that will define you. So don't waste another second waiting. Don't waste another moment doubting. Start now. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Because the only way to guarantee failure is to stop trying. And you're not the type to stop. Most people fear being alone. They see isolation as weakness. They think that if they don't have a crowd cheering them on, they must be doing something wrong. But here's the truth that no one talks about. Isolation is where legends are built. If you look at the greatest minds, the strongest leaders, the most successful people in history, you'll notice something. They all had a phase where they had to walk alone. They had to cut off distractions. They had to remove themselves from negativity. They had to distance themselves from people who didn't believe in them. And in that isolation, they became monsters. Monsters of focus. Monsters of discipline. Monsters of execution. Because when you're alone, something incredible happens. You stop worrying about what other people think. You stop living for validation. And you finally hear the one voice that truly matters. Your own. Most people won't understand your journey. Let's be real. When you start leveling up, people will doubt you. Why you're working so hard? Why don't you come hang out anymore? You've changed. Yes, you've changed. And you're supposed to. Growth requires change. It requires discomfort. It requires letting go of the old version of yourself and stepping into something greater. But here's where most people go wrong. They care too much about other people's opinions, and that's why they stay stuck. They're too afraid to walk alone, too afraid of judgment, too afraid of what their friends will say if they start moving differently. And that fear, it's what keeps them average. But you're not here to be average. You're here to be great. And greatness requires sacrifices. The pain of outgrowing people. Here's one of the hardest truths about success. You will outgrow people. Not everyone is meant to go with you on your journey. Some people are only meant to be part of your story for a season. And that's okay. Because as you evolve, you'll notice something. The people around you either inspire you or drain you. And the ones who drain you, the ones who bring negativity, doubt, and small-minded thinking, they have to go. It's painful, but it's necessary. Because if you don't remove them, they will hold you back. They will plant seeds of doubt in your mind. They will make you question your potential. They will keep you stuck at their level because your growth threatens them. But listen, you don't owe anyone your potential. You don't owe anyone your success. And if someone is truly your friend, they will support your growth, not resent it. So yes, walking alone can be painful, but you know what's even more painful? Waking up 10 years from now, realizing you sacrificed your dream just to make other people comfortable. Don't let that be your story. Silence the noise. Focus on your mission. The world is full of noise, social media, opinion, distractions. Everywhere you look, there's something trying to pull you away from your purpose. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life chasing things that don't matter. That's why isolation is so powerful. Because when you shut out the noise, you can finally focus on what really matters. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop caring about trends. You stop wasting time on things that don't move you forward. Instead, you wake up with a clear purpose. You train, you build, you execute. Day after day, without distractions, without excuses. And before you know it, you've built something incredible. Why most people fear being alone? Most people can't handle isolation. Not because they're weak, but because they've been programmed to believe they need constant validation to feel worthy. They need likes, comments, and attention to feel important. And when they don't have that, they start questioning themselves. Am I doing the right thing? Maybe I should just fit in. Maybe I should play it safe. And that's where dreams die. Because the moment you start living for other people's approval, you stop living for yourself. That's why you have to be okay with being misunderstood. You have to be okay with walking alone. Because in the end, success is a lonely road. Not because people don't want to see you win, but because most people aren't willing to make the sacrifices you are. The power of being a lone wolf. In nature, wolves travel in packs. But the strongest, most legendary wolves, they hunt alone. The lone wolf doesn't follow the crowd. The lone wolf doesn't wait for permission. The lone wolf doesn't seek approval. The lone wolf moves in silence, works in the dark, and becomes a beast while no one is watching. And when it finally emerges, the world has no choice but to take notice. That's exactly how you need to approach your journey. Let the world sleep on you. Let them doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Because while they're busy talking, you're busy building. And one day, they'll look up and realize you became something they never expected. It's time to lock in. You've come too far to turn back now. You've already sacrificed too much to stop. Now is not the time to let distractions pull you away from your mission. Now is not the time to care about what others think. Now is not the time to play small. It's time to lock in. It's time to block out the noise. Step into your power and show the world what you're made of. Because at the end of the day, you have two choices. Stay comfortable, fit in, and live a life of regret. Embrace the grind, stand alone, and build something legendary. The choice is yours. You've made it this far. You've heard the truth. You know that standing alone isn't a punishment. It's a privilege. It's the path that separates the weak from the strong. But now comes the real test. Because knowledge means nothing if you don't apply it. It's time to take everything you've learned and put it into action. The question is, are you ready? The moment that changes everything. There comes a moment in every warrior's journey where they face a decision: stay where they are, safe and comfortable, or step into the unknown and become something greater. That moment is here. Right now, you have two voices in your head. One voice is telling you to go back to the way things were, to stay comfortable, to seek approval, to keep doing what's easy. And then there's the other voice, the one that's been whispering to you for years, the one that knows you're capable of more, the one that pushes you to chase your dreams, to break your limits, to demand more from yourself. That voice, that's the real you, and it's time to start listening to it. No one is coming to save you. Let's be brutally honest. No one is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not your boss, not some miracle opportunity. It's you versus you, and that's how it's always been. Too many people sit around waiting for the right moment to start chasing their goals. But let me tell you something. There is no perfect moment. There is only right now. You either take control of your life today, or you stay exactly where you are. And if that truth makes you uncomfortable, good, because discomfort is where growth happens. Discomfort, the price of greatness. Every single person you admire, every legend, every icon, every leader, they all went through the fire. They all faced moments where they wanted to quit. They all had nights where they felt lost. They all had people doubting them, laughing at them, telling them they'd never make it. But you know what separates them from everyone else? They kept going. Even when it was hard, even when no one believed in them, even when they were standing alone in the dark, fighting battles no one could see, they embraced the pain, and they used it to build something great. So the next time you feel discomfort, don't run from it. Lean into it, because that pain, struggle, that's the fuel you need to become unstoppable. What if you don't take action? Let's flip the script for a second. What happens if you don't change? What happens if you keep waiting? What happens if you keep making excuses, keep avoiding the hard work, keep caring about what others think? You wake up one day and nothing is different. You're still stuck in the same place. You're still living the same life. You're still wondering what could have been. And the scariest part, you can't get that time back. Regret is the most painful thing in the world, because regret isn't about what you did. It's about what you didn't do. So ask yourself, would you rather feel the temporary pain of discipline or the lifelong pain of regret? Your future self is watching. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, your future self is waiting. And they're watching the decisions you make today. Are you going to give them a life they're proud of? Are you going to make the sacrifices necessary to reach your potential? Are you going to become the person you were born to be? Or are you going to waste another year making excuses? The choice is yours. But make no mistake. The clock is ticking. The final message: stand alone. Stand strong by now. You understand the truth. Strength isn't given, it's earned. Greatness isn't about how many people support you. It's about how you show up when no one does. Walking alone isn't a weakness, it's the path to power. So from this moment forward, stop waiting for permission. Stop looking for validation. Stop expecting someone else to pave the way. You are the path. The only question is, will you walk it? Your next step, now that you've made it this far, there's only one thing left to do. Take action. Don't just feel motivated for a few minutes, and then go back to the same old habits. Use this energy. Apply this mindset. And when the next video pops up on the screen, click it. Because your journey to greatness is just getting started. Let's go.